welcome to another Teacher's Corner. I'm Teacher Kirby, and this time we are going to be talking about the Iconian resistance reputation. So, the Iconian resistance reputation can be found under your reputation tab right after the Delta Alliance. And it has, as all reputations, it has 6 tiers, which you complete by getting Iconian marks and turning them in via the daily or hourly projects. Alright, now as you complete or go up the scale, there are of course traits that you unlock. For tier 1, you unlock the energized nanites. This gives you a health heal when you're dealing damage on the ground. And you unlock personal energy amplifier, which gives bonus kit damage. This can be useful. This is a category 2 bonus, meaning it's quite good, and we know that because of the word bonus here. Alright, for tier 2, we have Energy Refrequencer, a space skill. This heals hull when dealing damage. And we have Particle Generator Amplifier. This gives bonus exotic damage. Again, this is category 2, meaning it's quite good. And that gives you exotic damage, so for things like Gravity Well or Subspace Vortex, or destabilizing resonance beam, or tractor beam damage, things like that would fall under this exotic damage. Alright, for tier 3, we have our Radiant Detonation Module, which gives a chance to inflict AoE damage and remove buffs. This is again on the ground. And we have Destabilizing Phase Screen, which triggers damage immunity when hit, again on the ground. And then our tier 4 is space traits. We have Radiant Detonation Matrix, chance to inflict AoE damage and remove buffs. And then Destabilizing Phase Array, triggers damage immunity when hit. And then we have our Captain trait, which is Deploy Sensor Interference Platform. This is actually quite a good one. This is a taunt and damage debuff, which means that basically you deploy this and then you get away from it, and the interference platform goes nanny nanny boo boo to all the enemies, and they all go, ha, we're gonna get you. And okay, so I'm done now with that. But basically, it gets the enemies, the NPC's attention off of you for a short time. Alright, and then of course our tier 6, everything gets rank 2, which is a 25% bonus to what it did previously. And you also get some bonus damage for set weapons, etc, 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 all our normal tier 6 bonuses. Alright, so what do we get out of the Iconian reputation? Well, if you're tier 6, you get the reputation gear discount, you get the fleet ship module, the retrain token, all of these things, the vanity shield, and the like, if you are tier 6. So now you also get, for ground gear, you get, for armor, we get the Iconian resistance armor, which gives a number of resistances: physical, kinetic, energy, anti-proton specifically, and damage resistance rating, and gives an additional 105.2 maximum hit points. Also, when your health is 50% or lower, you gain immunity to stun, root, and knockback. So meaning that you can't be knocked back, you can't be held, and you can't be stunned, which can be useful. Okay, and then we have the personal shield. Personal shield gives 364.9 shield capacity and does the normal thing that shields do, which is regenerate for 3 seconds after not taking damage. There's also a chance for you to deal kinetic damage when you are hit, or when you take physical damage, sorry. And boop doop doop doo. And that can be triggered every 10 seconds. Alright. And it reduces all energy damage to shields by 15% and removes one debuff every 10 seconds. And you'll find that the removing of debuffs is common with the Iconian gear. Alright, and then we have the Iconian Resistance Pulse Wave Assault Weapon. And there are 2 types. And this one deals anti-proton. This is the original. Deals anti-proton. And then when you get to tier 6, you unlock the Tetrion version. Okay? They both do the same thing. They do cylindrical AoE anti-proton or cylindrical AoE damage and knockback for their primary, and they do a cone AoE damage and knockback for the secondary, the arcwave setting. Okay. And the, let's see. 2% crit. Okay. It also grants 1 radiant charge counter for 60 seconds. On hit, 10% chance to grant plus 56.1 temporary hit points for 15 seconds. This stacks 5 times. Plus, you also get 2% critical chance, and the 10% or plus 10 crit severity bonus is the anti-proton proc. So we're going to ignore that, because if you look here, it's not there on the Tetrion one. Instead, you have a, let's see, damage, yeah. Okay. So instead we have 50% chance to target plus 6 repel. Let me double check that. Oh no, that's normal. Okay. So there you go. There you have it. Now, those 3, the armor, shield, and either of these weapons, make up the Iconian Resistance Elite ground set. And this, of course, has set bonuses. So our set bonuses are as follows. So our 2-piece set bonus, you get reinforced combat circuitry, and that gives a passive of plus 164.4 maximum hit points, 5% armor penetration, and then we have our set 3 bonus, which gives a radiant subatomic field. This is a ground clickable, has a 2-minute recharge, and targets either you or a friend. So it gives to your team now 33% all damage for 30 seconds, 20% maximum hit points for 30 seconds, and 10% run speed for 30 seconds. So it gives quite a bit of bonus there. So not a bad clickable to have if you're willing to get this this set. Now, there's also kit modules. So for your science, which this character is, we have the photonic overload, which gives 49.3 radiation damage and 54.9% all damage for 10 seconds, 480.3 perception for 7.4 seconds, and has a 21.4-second recharge. And of course, the photonic overload is a cone AoE anti-proton damage perception and damage debuff. That means that it spreads out from you in a cone and does a whole bunch of crap to your enemies. Alright, now if you are not science, of course, you have other kit modules that will be available to you, and those are for engineering. It's a fabrication kit module, or kit module photonic barrier generator. And this creates a photonic barrier that applies a moderate amount of temporary hit points every few seconds and provides a modest boost to your damage resistance. For tactical, you get photonic overcharge, and that provides a boost to your critical severity and causes your weapon attacks to deal additional damage as shield penetrating radiation damage. So definitely some interesting kit modules. Alright, then we move on to our space gear. Our space gear, first we have our console, which is part of our Radiant Armaments set, which includes the Quantum Torpedo Launcher, the Advanced Radiant Energy Weapon. The original is Anti-Proton. The secondary is, I believe, yes, Tetrion. And then the console, of course, which is the Sustained Radiant Field. Alright, so our console gives us plus 20% bonus to all outgoing hull heals, plus 10% all weapon damage, and plus 20% to bonus shield heals. Bonus to shield heals. Alright. So, I mean, there are better things for tanking, but some of them are quite expensive. So if you can't afford some of those things, this might be a good placeholder while you save up. Alright. So, and then we have, of course, our weapons, our cannons and beams. These are the Radiant dual heavy cannons. And we have, of course, Anti-Proton and Tetrion, and they both do the same thing. The Anti-Proton has an extra 10% crit severity. Okay. And then we have Tetrion, which gives us... Oh, it does have 10% crit severity. Alright. And then we have our beam array. Same thing. Okay. And Tetrion, of course, same thing. And alright, and then we have our final of the weapon set, which is the Quantum Torpedo, which gives us 30% chance. Okay. There we go. Radiation damage is possible, and that would have 100% shield penetration. Alright. So, when we combine those, we can get our set, and that of course has set bonuses, which we want. And our set bonuses are: 2-piece set bonus is the Reinforced Radiant Field Projector. This gives us 2 passive abilities, and that is plus 17.8 Starship hull capacity increases Starship maximum hit points, and plus 25% temporary hit points bonus to radiation weapon procs. So what that means is when you look at the radiation weapons, you get on hit 5% chance plus 1000 temporary hit points for 15 seconds, can stack up to 5 times. So the 2-piece set bonus gives plus 25%. That's 1/4 or 250 extra temporary hit points to the radiant weapon procs. Alright, our 3-piece set bonus is called Advanced Radiant Hypercharge. It is a clickable ability. It has a 2-minute recharge, so you want to be careful when you use it. And this gives your advanced radiant weapon fires an extremely powerful blast. If target is below 50% max hull, deal additional damage based on missing hull. So it's kind of like a beam overload, but only for your advanced radiant weapon. And if your target is below 50% of their maximum hull, you're going to deal additional damage. So that's always a good one. That's always good to see if you're going to use something like that. Okay, but again, weapons and consoles are what we call high value real estate, so you want to be extremely careful what you put there. Alright, moving right along, we have our Iconian Resistance Space Set. This set actually used to be quite the bee's knees, as it were. Used to be the end all and be all. It was good for everything, and everything was good for to be used with the Iconian set. It is still quite a good set, and again, if you are saving up for some more expensive things, this is a good placeholder. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of why it's a good set. Okay, so we have our deflector array, gives us some kinetic damage resistance, an extra plus 5 to our shield power setting, an extra plus 17.5 shield restoration, some hull capacity, and some shield capacity. So it adds some tanking ability with the deflector. Okay, and then we have our impulse engines, and this gives us some extra defense rating just by having it on, flight speed, turn rate, plus 5 engine power setting. So now we have our our shield power setting can now go up to 130. Our engine power setting can now go up to 130. Okay, and when at 100% throttle words, we get some energy damage resistance rating in addition. So that is a good thing. Okay, and then we have our warp core. Okay, our warp core gives plus 7.5 additional engine power. Bonus increases at low engine power, so we get more if our engine power is low. We can add another plus 5 maximum engine power. We have a, add 7.5% of your engine power to your shield power as bonus power, so we get better shields. Okay. Plus we have some warp core efficiency, which improves power when levels are low. We get a reduced cooldown on transwarp, and we get hot restart. Automatically removes weapons disabled conditions. Can occur once up to every 60 seconds. So this is A good core to have if you find that you are always getting your weapons knocked offline, then this is a good core to consider getting. Plus you get 100 hull regen per second while at full impulse, and 20 shield regeneration per second to each facing while at full impulse. So you're starting to kind of see it's coming together. So you get extra power all over the place. You get a hot restart for your weapons. Plus you get hull regeneration and shield regeneration while you're at full impulse. Okay? So kind of a good thing here, right? Okay, everything kind of getting together, and then we have, of course, the singularity. Basically the same thing here. Slight differences. And yeah. Okay. So you increase your singularity charge rate by 20%. Okay. Things like that. And let's see, improve singularity jump, which increases the effect of your singularity jumps. Accuracy rating debuff by 100%. Okay. And then finally we have our shields. And our shields give us another hot restart. They automatically remove shield disabled conditions. Okay, they also remove 1 debuff every 10 seconds. So just by having these on, you get 1 debuff removed every 10 seconds. That's a passive ability. Plus, they are resilient shields, meaning 5% absorption and 5% bleed through. So less of the enemy's fire gets to your hull while your shields are up. It also reduces all energy damage to shields by 15%. So it's quite a, very, very decent, solid set, even though it's not the meta anymore. It is still quite a solid set, and one that is worth a look if as a decent placeholder if you're saving up for something more expensive for the new meta, etc., etc. All right, and our set bonuses. So this is the Iconian Resistance Starship Technologies. And here we go. Set bonuses, there they are. So our 2-piece set bonus, you get enhanced shield distribution. And this distribute shields applies shield regeneration for 5 seconds to each facing. Once triggered, it goes on cooldown for 30 seconds. Okay. And then we have our 3-piece set bonus, Energy Augmentation Actuator, and this is a passive ability. When firing energy weapons, 5% chance, plus 10% all energy damage for 8 seconds to allies within 10 kilometers. This effect stacks up to 3 times. So we're talking plus 30% category 1 damage, so it's, because we don't see the word bonus, we know it's category 1. That means it's added to your base damage, so it's almost an extra tactical console. Okay? And this applies not only to you, but to your allies within 10 kilometers. And then we have our 4-piece set bonus. That means deflector, shield, engine, impulse engine, or singularity. Impulse engine and singularity or warp core. Can't speak today. And that gives us our 4-piece set bonus, which is the Radiant Subatomic Pulse. This is a clickable. It has a 2-minute recharge. It affects both friend and self, so that means it affects your team as well. And it gives to the team 33% all damage for 30 seconds, plus 20% maximum hull for 30 seconds, and plus 10% flight speed for 30 seconds. So again, that means some extra Category 1 damage, almost a tactical console's worth, and of course some increases your maximum hull and increases your flight speed for 30 seconds. So this is, as we said, or as I said, this is a decent set, even in the meta of, even though nowadays our meta is colony shields and or colony deflectors and etc., etc. This is still a set that is worth using as a placeholder before you move on to better things, or it will still work and give you decent numbers if that is what you are looking for. Alrighty, so that is the wrap up of the Iconian Resistance reputation. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to speak up in the comments below, and I will see you next time.